The unexpected invitation. The message that flashed across Captain Alina Reeves' holographic display was so absurd, she nearly spat out her synthetic coffee. The U.S. Horizon, Earth's premier interstellar vessel, had just received an invitation that seemed more like a practical joke than a diplomatic communique. They want us to do what? Lieutenant Commander Zach Chen's voice crackled through the ship's internal comm system, a mixture of disbelief and amusement evident in his tone. Alina ran a hand through her short, silver-streaked hair, her green eyes scanning the message for the third time. Apparently, the Galactic Council is hosting a cultural exchange program at their prestigious academy. They've invited Earth to participate in what they're calling an Interspecies companion showcase. You mean, they want us to bring our pets to show and tell? Zach's laughter echoed through the bridge, causing a few of the newer crew members to glance up from their stations. That's exactly what they want, Alina confirmed, a wry smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. The Council seems to think this will help improve our, how did they put it, somewhat intimidating reputation as Deathworlders. The term Deathworlder had been coined by the galactic community shortly after Earth's introduction to interstellar society. It referred to species that evolved on planets with extreme conditions, resulting in hardier, more resilient life forms. Humans, with their ability to survive in a wide range of environments and their history of overcoming planetary disasters, had quickly earned the moniker. Well, I suppose it beats their previous attempts at diplomacy, Zach mused. Remember the Hug a Human campaign? Alina groaned at the memory. That particular initiative had ended with 3 sprained tentacles, 1 diplomatic incident involving accidental ink spraying, and a formal apology from Earth's ambassador. Don't remind me. At least this time, we're on somewhat familiar ground. Though I'm not sure the galaxy is ready for the concept of pets as we know them. As if on cue, a loud bark echoed through the ship's corridors, followed by the sound of scampering paws. Moments later, a large, shaggy form burst onto the bridge, tongue lolling and tail wagging furiously. "Max," Alina exclaimed as the Irish wolfhound bounded up to her, nearly knocking her out of her captain's chair. "What are you doing here? Who let you out of our quarters?" "Sorry, Captain," a breathless voice called from the doorway. Dr. Amelia Foster, the ship's xenobiologist, appeared, her curly red hair in disarray. "He slipped past me when I was checking on him. I think he sensed the excitement." Alina scratched behind Max's ears, unable to keep the affection out of her voice. "It's all right, Amelia. I suppose he's just eager to make his galactic debut." As the crew chuckled, Alina felt a spark of excitement kindle in her chest. This mission, as odd as it seemed, could be the perfect opportunity to show the galaxy a different side of humanity. Not just the resilient survivors or the innovative problem solvers, but the nurturers, the caretakers, the ones who could form bonds with creatures so different from themselves. "All right, team," she announced, standing up and addressing the bridge crew. "It looks like we're going back to school. Send out a ship-wide announcement. I want to know every crew member who has a pet on board. We're going to give the Galactic Academy a show they'll never forget." As the crew buzzed with excitement, discussing which animals they might bring and speculating on the aliens' reactions, Alina couldn't help but feel a mix of anticipation and trepidation. They were about to introduce the concept of Earth pets to a galactic community that still viewed humans as unpredictable and potentially dangerous. What could possibly go wrong? Little did they know, their journey to the Galactic Academy would not only challenge alien perceptions of humanity, but also test the very bonds between humans and their animal companions in ways they could never have imagined. Arrival at the Galactic Academy. The U.S. horizon dropped out of hyperspace with a subtle ripple, the vast expanse of stars giving way to a breathtaking view of the Galactic Academy. The massive structure floated serenely in space, its crystalline spires and bioluminescent domes a testament to the advanced technologies of 100 different species. Captain Alina Reeves stood at the helm, her normally stoic expression betraying a hint of awe. Beside her, Max the Irish wolfhound pressed his nose against the viewscreen, leaving a smudge that a nearby ensign hurriedly wiped away. "It's beautiful," Lieutenant Commander Zach Chen murmured, voicing the thought on everyone's mind. "And intimidating," Dr. Amelia Foster added, clutching the carrier that housed her own companion, a temperamental Scottish fold cat named Whiskers. "I'm starting to think this might have been a bad idea." Elena squared her shoulders, projecting a confidence she didn't entirely feel. "Too late for second thoughts now, Doctor. We're here to make an impression, and that's exactly what we're going to do." As the Horizon docked with the Academy's main hangar, Elena addressed her crew one last time. "Remember, we're not just representing Earth here. We're ambassadors for every creature we've brought with us. Let's show the galaxy what it really means to be from a death world." The airlock hissed open, revealing a welcoming committee that was as diverse as it was alien. Tentacled beings floated alongside insectoid creatures, while ethereal light forms pulsed in patterns that seemed to convey both greeting and caution. At the forefront stood Zarthak, the Academy's headmaster, a towering, six-limbed entity with iridescent scales and eyes that seemed to look in every direction at once. "Welcome, Terrans," Zarthak's voice resonated in their minds, a mix of curiosity and apprehension clear in the telepathic communication. "We are eager to learn about your companions." Elena stepped forward, Max padding faithfully by her side. "Thank you for having us, Headmaster Zarthak. We're honored to be here and excited to share our culture with you." As the human contingent made their way through the Academy's winding corridors, they couldn't help but notice the wide berth given to them by the alien students. Whispers and mental murmurs followed in their wake. "Are those the Deathworlders? Look at the fur on that creature. Is it some kind of weapon? I heard they eat other life forms for sustenance. How barbaric." Zach leaned in close to Elena, keeping his voice low. "I don't think they quite know what to make of us, Captain." "Good," Elena replied with a slight smirk. "That means we have the element of surprise." They were led to a vast auditorium, its tiered seating filled with beings of all shapes and sizes. At the center was a raised platform, currently occupied by a gelatinous creature that seemed to be giving a presentation on symbiotic relationships. As the humans took their seats, they couldn't help but feel like exhibits in a zoo, studied and scrutinized from every angle. Max, sensing the tension, let out a low whine, causing several nearby aliens to flinch. "Sha, it's okay, boy," Elena soothed, running her hand through his shaggy fur. "We'll show them there's nothing to be afraid of." Dr. Foster, meanwhile, was having a harder time keeping Whiskers calm. The cat had started emitting a low growl from inside her carrier, causing a ripple of unease to spread through the alien audience. "I don't think Whiskers appreciates being cooped up," Amelia whispered nervously. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea after all. Before Elena could respond, Headmaster Zarthak's voice echoed through the auditorium. "Esteemed colleagues and students, we now welcome our guests from Earth. They have brought with them examples of their pets, a concept unique to their world. Please extend them every courtesy as they share this aspect of their culture with us." As Elena stood to make her way to the platform, she felt the weight of 1,000 alien gazes upon her. This was it, the moment they'd show the galaxy that there was more to humanity than their fearsome reputation suggested. But just as she reached the first step, a commotion broke out near the back of the auditorium. Shouts of alarm and the sound of scattering aliens filled the air. Captain." Zach's voice came through her earpiece, a note of panic evident. "We might have a slight problem. Remember Ensign Rodriguez's iguana? Well, it seems Spike decided to make a break for it." Elena closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. So much for making a good first impression. As chaos erupted around them, she realized that introducing Earth's wildlife to the galaxy was going to be far more challenging and potentially disastrous than any of them had anticipated. The cultural exchange was off to a rocky start, and it was up to Elena and her crew to turn this potential diplomatic nightmare into a triumph for human-alien relations. As she turned to face the panicked audience, Alina steeled herself for what was sure to be the most unusual and important presentation of her career. The Wild Showcase. As chaos unfolded in the auditorium, Captain Alina Reeves knew she had to act fast. Spike the iguana was on the loose, alien students were scattering in panic, and the carefully planned cultural exchange was teetering on the brink of disaster. Zach, Amelia. Alina's voice cut through the commotion. Contain Spike. Everyone else, keep your companions calm and in place. We're going to turn this around. With a deep breath, Alina strode confidently to the center of the platform. Max, sensing his human's determination, fell into step beside her, his tail held high. Esteemed members of the Galactic Academy. Alina's voice boomed, amplified by the room's acoustics. The pandemonium gradually subsided as curious alien eyes turned towards her. What you've just witnessed is not a threat, but an opportunity. An opportunity to understand the unpredictable, adaptable nature of Earth's life forms, including us humans. As she spoke, Zach and Amelia managed to corner Spike. The iguana, realizing the game was up, allowed himself to be scooped up by a relieved Ensign Rodriguez. Alina continued, a wry smile on her face. Life on Earth is diverse, sometimes chaotic, but always fascinating. Our animals, like us, have evolved to survive in ever-changing environments. This has made them, and us, incredibly resilient and adaptable. She gestured to Max, who sat obediently at her side. This is Max, an Irish wolfhound. On Earth, dogs like Max have been our companions for thousands of years. They've worked alongside us, protected us, and become part of our families. To demonstrate, Alina gave Max a hand signal. The massive dog immediately lay down, rolled over, and then sat up, looking at the alien audience with friendly curiosity. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. As you can see, Alina explained, Earth animals are capable of understanding complex commands and forming deep bonds with humans. This ability to communicate across species lines has been crucial to our survival and development as a civilization. Encouraged by the audience's growing interest, Alina invited her crew members to present their companions one by one. Dr. Foster stepped forward with Whiskers, who had finally calmed down. This is a domestic cat, Amelia explained, her scientific curiosity overtaking her earlier nervousness. Cats are independent creatures, known for their agility and hunting prowess. They've been living alongside humans for millennia, keeping our dwellings free of pests and providing companionship. As if on cue, Whiskers let out a soft meow and began to purr, the sound amplified by the auditorium's acoustics. Several alien students leaned forward, captivated by the soothing noise. Next came Ensign Rodriguez with the now docile Spike. Iguanas are reptiles, cold-blooded creatures that have survived on Earth for millions of years, he explained, his earlier embarrassment forgotten in the face of the aliens' fascination. They're a reminder of the ancient creatures that once ruled our planet, and of life's incredible ability to adapt and evolve. One by one, other crew members presented their pets, a colorful parrot that could mimic human speech, a gentle rabbit that elicited coos of delight from even the most stoic aliens, and a clever rat that could navigate a small maze set up on the platform. As the showcase continued, Alina noticed a change in the atmosphere. The fear and apprehension that had initially greeted them were giving way to curiosity and even admiration. Alien students were asking questions, leaning in for a closer look, and some were even requesting to touch the Earth animals, under careful supervision, of course. Headmaster Zarthak's mental voice resonated with a mix of awe and newfound respect. Captain Reeves, I must admit, when we extended this invitation, we did not anticipate this. The diversity, the intelligence, the symbiotic relationships you've developed with these creatures, it's remarkable. Alina smiled, feeling a sense of pride wash over her. Thank you, Headmaster. On Earth, we have a saying, the more you know, the less you fear. We hoped that by sharing this aspect of our culture, we could bridge the gap between our worlds. As the showcase drew to a close, Alina could see animated discussions breaking out among the alien students and faculty. The term Deathworlder was being used less as a fearful whisper and more as an expression of respect and fascination. But just as Alina was beginning to relax, thinking the hardest part was over, an alarm blared through the auditorium. Red lights flashed, and Zarthak's voice, tinged with panic, echoed in their minds. Emergency in Sector 7. Containment breach in the xenobiology lab. All students and faculty evacuate immediately. Alina exchanged a quick glance with her crew. They had come here to change perceptions about Earth and its inhabitants. Now, it seemed, they would have a chance to prove their worth in a crisis. "All right, team," Alina said, her voice firm and decisive. "Looks like this cultural exchange just got a lot more hands-on. Let's show them what Earthlings and their animal companions can really do." As they rushed towards the source of the alarm, Alina couldn't help but think that this was turning out to be far more than a simple show and tell. It was becoming a test of everything that made humans and Earth animals unique in the galaxy: their adaptability, their courage, and their unwavering spirit in the face of the unknown. Crisis and cooperation. The corridors of the Galactic Academy were a blur of flashing lights and panicked aliens as Captain Alina Reeves and her crew raced towards Sector 7. Max loped alongside Alina, his ears perked and alert. Behind them, the rest of the human team followed, each accompanied by their animal companions. "Any idea what we're dealing with, Headmaster?" Alina called out to Zarthak, who was gliding swiftly beside them. The alien's mental voice was strained. "Our xenobiology lab houses specimens from across the galaxy. One of our more volatile subjects has escaped containment. It's a neurovoric shade from the Cygnus system, a predator that feeds on neural energy." Dr. Foster's eyes widened. "A creature that eats thoughts. Fascinating and terrifying." As they rounded a corner, they came face to face with the chaos. Alien students were fleeing in all directions, some clearly disoriented. In the center of the hallway stood a shimmering, semi-transparent being that seemed to shift and twist, defying the laws of physics. "That's it," Zarthak confirmed. "The shade. It's already started feeding." Alina assessed the situation quickly. "Zach, Amelia, help evacuate the remaining students. Rodriguez, see if you can access the lab's containment systems. The rest of you, form a perimeter. We need to keep this thing contained until we can figure out how to stop it." As the team sprang into action, Alina noticed something peculiar. While the alien students seemed susceptible to the shade's neural feeding, her human crew appeared unaffected. Even more surprisingly, their animal companions showed no signs of distress. "Headmaster," Alina called out, "why isn't it affecting us or our animals?" Zarthak's mental voice was filled with wonder. "Incredible. Your neural patterns must be too alien for it to process. And your animals, their minds are too different, too simple perhaps." An idea began to form in Alina's mind. Too simple or too pure? She turned to her crew. "Everyone, focus on your bond with your animals. Think about the trust, the companionship." As the humans concentrated, something remarkable happened. The animals began to react. Max started barking, his deep, resonant woofs echoing through the corridor. Whiskers arched her back and hissed, fur standing on end. Spike the iguana inflated his dewlap, making himself appear larger. The neurovoric shade seemed to recoil, its shimmering form rippling in apparent distress. "It's working," Alina exclaimed. "The pure emotional connections we share with our animals. It's overwhelming the shade's senses." Encouraged, the rest of the crew joined in. The parrot began squawking. The rabbit thumped its powerful hind legs, and the rat squeaked defiantly. The cacophony of animal sounds, backed by the unwavering focus of their human companions, created a barrier of noise and emotion that the shade couldn't penetrate. Slowly but surely, the creature began to retreat towards the lab. Seizing the opportunity, Rodriguez managed to reactivate the containment field, trapping the shade back in its enclosure. As the crisis subsided, a stunned silence fell over the hallway. Then gradually, it was replaced by a growing murmur of awe and appreciation from the alien students and faculty who had witnessed the event. Headmaster Zarthak floated forward, all of his eyes fixed on Alina and her team. In all my cycles, I have never seen anything like this. You and your Earth companions, you saved us all. Alina smiled, reaching down to scratch Max behind the ears. This is what we've been trying to show you. On Earth, we may come from a harsh world, but it's taught us the value of cooperation, of forming bonds across species lines. These animals aren't just pets, they're partners, friends, family. The alien students began to crowd around, their fear now replaced by fascination. Questions flew thick and fast. How do you communicate with them? Can all Earth animals do this? What's it like to form such a bond with another species? As Alina and her crew answered questions and allowed the curious aliens to interact with their animals under supervision, she caught Zarthak's eye. The Headmaster's mental voice was filled with respect and a hint of excitement. Captain Reeves, I believe this incident has demonstrated something profound about your species and your world. Perhaps it's time we reconsidered the term Deathworlder. You've shown us that Earth isn't just a planet of survival, but one of symbiosis and mutual growth. Alina nodded, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment wash over her. They had come to the Galactic Academy to change perceptions, and in the face of an unexpected crisis, they had done just that. As the excitement began to die down and the cleanup efforts started, Alina gathered her crew. Well done, everyone. I think it's safe to say our cultural exchange was a success, though perhaps not in the way we originally intended. Zack grinned, patting Max's head. So, what's next, Captain? Think they'll let us teach a class on Earth zoology? Alina laughed, looking around at the now admiring faces of the alien students. You know what, Lieutenant? I think that might just be the start of something big. As they made their way back to the main auditorium, Alina couldn't help but feel that this was more than just a successful mission. It was the beginning of a new chapter in human-alien relations, one where Earth's unique relationship with its animals could serve as a bridge between worlds. The galaxy had seen what Earthlings and their companions could do. Now it was time to build on that foundation and forge a future of interspecies cooperation that went beyond anything they had imagined. New perspectives and friendships. In the days following the Neurovoric Shade incident, the Galactic Academy buzzed with a new energy. The halls that had once fallen silent at the approach of the Deathworlders now filled with excited chatter and curious glances. Captain Alina Reeves and her crew found themselves at the center of this whirlwind of change, their Earth animals becoming unlikely celebrities in the process. Headmaster Zarthak had made good on the suggestion of Earth zoology classes. Alina stood at the front of a packed lecture hall, Max lounging contentedly at her feet as she addressed a diverse group of alien students. The key to understanding Earth's ecosystems, Alina explained, is recognizing the intricate web of relationships between species. Our planet's history is one of cooperation as much as competition. A Medusan student, its tentacles waving gently, raised an appendage. But Captain, how do you determine which creatures to form bonds with and which to avoid? Alina smiled. An excellent question. On Earth, we've learned to respect all life forms, but we've also developed close relationships with species that complement our own abilities and needs. As the lecture continued, Alina couldn't help but notice the change in the students' attitudes. The fear and apprehension that had initially greeted them had given way to genuine curiosity and even admiration. Meanwhile, in another part of the academy, Dr. Amelia Foster was conducting a hands-on workshop with Whiskers. A group of alien scientists watched in fascination as the cat navigated an obstacle course, demonstrating feline agility and problem-solving skills. Remarkable, murmured a Volcrin researcher, its crystalline form shimmering with excitement. The neural pathways must be incredibly complex to allow for such adaptive behavior. Amelia nodded, a proud smile on her face. Indeed, Earth's animals have evolved alongside us, developing intricate cognitive abilities. Whiskers here can understand dozens of commands and even seems to pick up on human emotions. As if to demonstrate, Whiskers sauntered over to a nervous-looking Arcturian student, gently rubbing against its leg and purring. The alien's nervousness visibly melted away, replaced by a look of wonder. In the Academy's biome simulator, Ensign Rodriguez was giving a practical demonstration on Earth's varied ecosystems. Spike the iguana basked under a heat lamp, while a small group of alien students carefully offered him leafy greens. Earth's climates range from scorching deserts to freezing tundras, Rodriguez explained. Our animals, like Spike, have adapted to thrive in these diverse conditions. This adaptability is something we share with them. As Orblaxian student, its gelatinous form quivering with curiosity oozed forward. Is it true that some Earth creatures can change their form to suit their environment? Rodriguez grinned. Absolutely. We call it metamorphosis. Some insects, like butterflies, undergo complete transformations during their life cycle. It's just another example of the incredible diversity of life on Earth. As the day wound down, Alina gathered her crew for a debrief. The excitement in their voices was palpable as they shared their experiences. "Captain, you won't believe it," Zach exclaimed. "A group of Andromeda Tech students want to collaborate on developing new environmental suits based on Earth animal adaptations. They're talking about gecko-inspired climbing gear and shark skin-based hydrodynamic materials." Amelia chimed in, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "And the Xenobiology department has invited me to co-lead a research project on interspecies bonding. They're fascinated by the psychological benefits of human-animal companionship." Alina felt a surge of pride. What had started as a simple cultural exchange had blossomed into something far greater, a paradigm shift in how the galaxy viewed Earth and its inhabitants. As they made their way to the farewell ceremony, Alina noticed something that made her pause. A young Rigelian, a species known for their deep-seated fear of unfamiliar life forms, was tentatively petting Max. The massive dog sat patiently, his tail wagging gently, as the alien child's initial trepidation gave way to delight. Headmaster Zarthak glided up beside Alina, his mental voice warm with admiration. "You've done more than showcase your animals, Captain Reeves. You've taught us all a valuable lesson about overcoming our fears and embracing diversity." Alina nodded, watching as more alien students gathered around, each eager to interact with the Earth animals. "That's the beauty of it, Headmaster. These bonds we form. They're not just between humans and animals. They're bridges connecting different worlds, different species. They show us that no matter how alien we might seem to each other, we can always find common ground." As the farewell ceremony began, Alina looked out at the sea of alien faces, no longer filled with fear, but with respect, curiosity, and even affection. She realized that they had achieved something profound. They had not only changed the galaxy's perception of Earth and its inhabitants, but had also opened up new avenues for interstellar cooperation and understanding. The term Deathworlder still lingered, but its meaning had shifted. Now, it was spoken with a hint of awe, a recognition of the unique strengths and perspectives that humans and their animal companions brought to the galactic community. As the U.S. Horizon prepared for departure, Alina knew that this was just the beginning. The cultural exchange had sown the seeds of countless collaborative projects, research initiatives, and most importantly, friendships that spanned the stars. Earth's animals had done more than just showcase their abilities. They had become ambassadors of a new era of interspecies harmony. And as the Horizon jumped to hyperspace, carrying its human crew and their faithful animal companions, Alina couldn't help but feel that the future of human-alien relations was brighter than ever. The galaxy had learned that on Earth, life found a way not just to survive, but to thrive through cooperation and mutual understanding. It was a lesson that would resonate across the cosmos for generations to come.